Hi friends, welcome to the first clip for the Manga Love Readathon vlog. So if you don't know what this readathon is, I will leave the announcement video in the corner for you so you can look at it. I do this a couple different times a year. We'll do a spring round in April or May, and then I do a round in the fall right around late September, early October. So anyways, I want to tell you guys, I did start last night. So this is a Friday, February 12th right now. I did start before I went to bed last night, and I read a couple volumes. So I'm going to talk about those, and then I'm going to, I forgot to grab one. Hold on. Okay, so let me tell you what I've already read and what I'm currently reading, and we'll get this thing going. So first up, one of the things I read last night was The Vampire and His Pleasant Companions, Volume 1. And this one definitely has a comedy aspect to it. So essentially we're following a guy named Al, or I think it's Albert is his official name. And he was a vampire in like Nebraska, somewhere in the middle. I want to say it's Nebraska. And he was feeding on some like cow's blood at like a meat packing plant. And he accidentally got sealed away in some meat and frozen and transported to Japan. So when he wakes up there, he tries to get acquainted, but you know, when he transforms, he's not wearing clothes. So he, you know, is like naked, and they think he's a pervert and take him to jail. And then when he transforms into a bat, he sneaks away. And it's just really interesting. Along the way, he meets two guys, primarily Akira, who loves bats and is really sweet when he's a bat, but the second he's a human man, he like freaks out. And so it's shenanigans, lots of nakedness, and progressing friendship between Akira and Albert, and it's cute. I really liked this. The art is really fun. I really like the art. There's a not naked panel. But yes, I recommend checking this out if you like vampires and a little bit of fun, because I had a great time reading this one. The next one I have here is A White Rose in Bloom, Volume 1. In this one, we're following two girls at the same high school. One is a year 12 and one is a year 11. And they both end up staying at the school over Christmas break, and through that, they kind of form a friendship. And things are starting to progress between them. Like, they both notice each other more than they had previously. And so the blonde one here is Steph, and they call her Steel Steph because she just is very icy and cold and pushes everybody away. And then we have Ruby, and Ruby is trying to thaw Steph's icy exterior. It's really cute. I actually really adore this. This is from the same mangaka that does Classmates, and I really loved that one. Their art style is very distinct, so if you don't like that art style, you probably won't enjoy this story as either. But I really love like their dresses. There's a good look at it. Like art-wise, I just really enjoy how everything comes together, and I'm really liking the direction of the story. It's really, really interesting, and it is an all-girls school, so there's lots of jealousy. A lot of people like Steph, and so they're jealous of Ruby spending so much time with her. It's really interesting. I really love it. And then the other one that I've already read and I'm not in the middle of reading was Transparent Light Blue. Now, this is a yuri about, you know, two girls who are best friends, and they kind of bonded over ear cleaning, and it became this thing of trust. And like, there were three of them that all grew up together. There was a guy and these two girls, and this Ichika, this girl, started dating the guy of their group. I think his name's Shin or Shon or Shun or something like that, something of that idiom. And then we have Ritsu, who's jealous of their relationship, but they still do this ear cleaning together, and it's almost like orgasmic for Ichika. And like, it's interesting. I wasn't sure how I was gonna feel about this, and I think I'm going to give it a 3.5. There is another short yuri story at the end of this to kind of fill it out as a volume by the same mangaka. And I think I'm going to give it 3.5. This isn't going to be for everybody, and I do feel like it was a little rushed. I wish it had taken a little more time or given us a little more backstory. I just felt like there was a little bit missing. It needed to be fleshed out just a tiny bit more for my taste. So, like I say, 3.5, not bad, not perfect either. So that's how I feel about that one. And then what I'm in the middle of reading right now is Holic Omnibus number 2. So I've technically read like what would be volume 4. I got all that read last night before I got too tired. And so the plan today is to finish this and then start moving down the stack, get as many physicals read as I can today. So just wanted you guys to know I am enjoying this. Basically, it's about Watanuki, this guy here in the middle, and how he's basically in the service of this, like, Yuko woman, who I think is part demon, if I remember right. I don't know. Like, you're gonna have to fact check me on this one. But anyways, I really enjoy the dynamic in this one. We had Valentine's Day happen in the first part of this story. So it's going to be really interesting to see how the rest of the volume goes from here. Like, some interesting things happened in that equivalent of volume 4. So anyways, and as always, it has the beautiful clamp art style. Here, I just love Clamp's art. It's fantastic. I really enjoy it. So I'll talk to you guys after I've read some more. Probably at least finished this omnibus of Holic, maybe another thing or two, just so that editing's a little easier on me. All right, so it's been a bit since we've chatted, and I've got 4 volumes to talk to you guys about, so let's dive in. So first up we have Holic, volume omnibus 2, which contains volumes 4, 5, and 6 if you're talking about the singles. And in this one, I feel like we get a lot of growth with Watanuki, and I feel like the story progression is really interesting. Watanuki's learning more about who he is and settling into life, and the other people around him are starting to understand him, and he's starting to understand the people around him better. And you know, this centers around Valentine's Day and White Day, and there's some really fun things happening here that are just fun shenanigans, but it's all tied around Watanuki learning more about himself, and I just thought it was so well done, and I cannot wait to pick up more of this series. Next, we have Pleasure and Corruption, Volume 2. So, I had very mixed feelings after Volume 1, and I remember why now. This isn't only Shibari bondage, which I read in another book and absolutely adored. There's a humiliation aspect to that from the dom to the sub. And the way that that's handled is kind of borderline for me. I did give this volume a higher rating than the previous one, though. I gave this one 4 stars because I understood that a little bit better. And I think that helped my enjoyment of the story. And we have one of our characters that was kind of on the outskirts in the first volume actually get pulled into their dom-sub kind of relationship unexpectedly. At least to me, I wasn't expecting that to happen. So when it did, that was a really interesting moment. And I really enjoyed the trio of them. And I know that Volume 3 has both the girls on the cover, so I wonder if it's going to be a trio at this point. And I'm really intrigued at this point for the rest of the series. I keep saying at this point in this clip. I'm very sorry. All I know is that I'm interested enough to get the next volume. So I might be making that run sometime this weekend as well. I don't know, maybe today, maybe this afternoon. We'll see. I'm trying to be a reasonable human being with my budget, so it might wait a couple weeks. And then I ended up reading Volume 2 of Miss Koizumi Loves Ramen Noodles, and this was just a really, really fun, short volume. And in this one, it makes you hungry when you read this. Miss Koizumi has that, like, aloof, you know, perfect girl kind of status, yet she chows down on ramen like it's nobody's business. And it's just really, really fun. It's her and her classmates and just the people who observe her at all these different ramen shops. It's really fun. I really like it. And I highly recommend checking out this series if you're a foodie lover, because I think you'll really enjoy it. And then the last one that I've read since we last chatted was Fiancé of the Wizard Volume 2. So this is the halfway point of the series, because there's only 4 volumes. So we only have 2 more coming out of this series. And this one was really fun. In the beginning, we kind of have this moment where Egidarius, I think is how you say his name. He's kind of got an interesting one. She calls him Eddie. Edie, like Edie, Eddie, however you would say that. And he basically kind of gets sent off to war to battle this big warlord kind of guy. And so he's off with all of them, and she's feeling insecure and feeling like he's not going to come back alive. And there's this moment where they think he's died, but of course he's not dead. And they come back, and the actual marriage ceremony happens in this volume. It was a lot of fun. I really like the growth that they both had with this volume, because he got to the point where he fully understood his feelings for her. And that led him to finally take that last step of actually marrying her, because they'd been engaged for so long. And it's just so cute. I cannot wait for the next 2 volumes. It's going to be a good time. So that's all I've got read for now. My husband's on his way home from work. He's still got a couple of hours of work to do from home. So I think what I'm going to do, I've got a couple more volumes that I could easily dive into. So I think I shall. Tomorrow's a work day, so I tend to not get as much reading done on those days. And I think so I want to get a lot read today if I can, so that Sunday when I have a couple things going on, I don't feel like I can't spend time with my husband, if that makes sense. And so I try to do all of my reading when I'm not having time with him, especially because Sunday is Valentine's Day. I want to at least watch a movie or a few episodes of an anime or something with him and spend some time with him, for sure. So if I can get the bulk of my reading done early in the readathon, that way if I cut off the vlog early on Sunday and just spend the rest of the day with him, y'all will understand. Okay, I've read some more, so let's talk about what I've read. I've got 3 more volumes here that I've tackled, so let's start with The Apothecary Diaries Volume 2. So this pretty much leaves off right where we left off. We've still got all of the political maneuverings happening within the palace. And then we have Mao Mao out there doing her thing, doing her best. And the emperor even gave her a specific task that she had to take care of. And the amount of people out for these, like, consorts is insane. But I love it, again. And the romance between her and the other guy, the beautiful guy on the back of Volume 1. I don't know why his name just left me. Is it here on the back? Starts with a J. The romance budding between the two of them is getting really cute, and I'm really loving it. Oh, I need more volumes of this fast. Like, Square Enix is a little slower on the publish, but man, I cannot wait for the next one. I'm so excited. I love this series a whole lot. Up next, we have Volume 2 of Whisper Me a Love Song, and this is really cute. We do have an official interloper between our 2 girls now, and we also have the younger of the 2 questioning what romantic love really even is to her, because she's kind of that bubbly personality that loves everybody, but the difference between romantic love and platonic love is something she's never really been able to decipher. So that's kind of the journey that she's going on in here, and it's so brilliantly done. I really enjoy the direction of this series. It's still ongoing in Japan, so once we get up to, I think it's up to Volume 4 in Japan and still ongoing from what I remember Googling a little bit ago when I finished it. But this one's probably going to be a slower publish. I don't know how many volumes total it's going to be. It's currently 4. But I would assume it's only going to be a couple more after that. If it went too much longer, I'd be surprised. But it's still really cute, and I still really like it. Highly recommend checking this Yuri title out. And then I got around to finally reading Volume 3 of My Dress Up Darling. Now, this is a cosplay manga, and a lot of the cosplays are much more adult than you would normally find. Meaning they are very sexual in their nature. It is a little bit pervy on that side of the spectrum. So be prepared for that going into this title. They come sealed. They come sealed. That's what I'm going to tell you. But I actually really enjoyed this volume. I was afraid I wasn't going to like it, but I ended up really, really enjoying it. So I do think I'm going to end up continuing on. I think there's only a handful of volumes in the series total, so I'm not 100% sure, but I did genuinely enjoy reading this volume, and I'm really excited for the next one. The romance side of this is starting to finally progress a little bit, and I'm enjoying that. So with that said, I'm not sure I'm going to read any more tonight. I've got work tomorrow, but I just want to spend some time with Steve tonight, and I've read 9 volumes of manga today, so. Hi friends, welcome to day 2 of this round of Manga Love Readathon. I'm currently sitting in my car,
It's currently snowing outside. And I just finished all my appointments at work, but I'm getting my own hair done here in a little bit. So I just wanted to briefly update you on what I've gotten read since we last chatted. So since we last chatted, I read the first volume of Boss Wife, and this was a lot sweeter than I was expecting it to be, if I'm honest. I think it did a really good job of bringing in a sweet romance to a Yakuza story. I do think the Yakuza part is going to come into play more in the next little bit, so that's going to be interesting. On my Kindle, I didn't realize, I thought I had the first volume of The Lion and the Bride, but I had the first chapter, so I read that, and oh lordy, that is going to be a hot mess. It's basically about a teenage girl who is an orphan. She ends up marrying her teacher, and then this boy that she doesn't get along with in class is now her stepson. And it's all sorts of a hot mess, but I'm kind of here for it. I'm definitely gonna have to see what the deal is with that one. If they're just serializing it, what they're doing, because man, I need to know more. I'd like my things messy every so often, but yeah, like it's interesting. The art is really, really nice in it as well. So with that said, then I moved on to Ran the Peerless Beauty. So I've read volume 7 and I'm about halfway through volume 8, but this series continues to be lovable and adorable. We have an interloper who's now part of the gardening club that happens to know Akira because their families work together, and it's just craziness. I still love it, and the art in this is so precious, and I love how it all centers around flowers. Akira's coming into who he is as a human and like what he really loves in life. He's becoming less ashamed of his love of flowers, and it's really sweet to watch him grow. I really, really love this. I still love Ren and Akira a whole lot, and I cannot wait to see how things continue to progress for them. So with that said, that's all I've read since my last update. I'm gonna go grab some food. I might run home for a little bit and then come back for my appointment because it's still a number of hours away. I think I'll do that. I'll go home and make some lunch. That's better for me anyway, right? Right. So I think that's gonna be my plan, and I'll come back later. I look very different now, and I am madly in love with my new hair. So with that said, let's talk about what I've read since I last filmed a clip. Hold on. Okay, so I believe the last thing I told you guys I had read was Ran the Peerless Beauty. After that, I read the first volume of You Got Me Senpai, and this one is really interesting. It's one of those where they're like dating pretty much by the first chapter, and they're both just kind of learning about romantic love together. It's kind of sweet right now, and it's interesting because they really don't know each other well, and they're still having this relationship, and so it's really interesting. And then I also read the last 3 volumes of Love Massage Melting Beauty Treatment. So essentially in this series, we have a working woman who's stressful, and she gets a massage because of the company that she works for, and the guy giving her a massage ends up really liking her. It becomes more of an erotic massage kind of a situation, and they start a relationship, and things go from there. It does very heavily center around massage, and she's one of those people who makes a lot of erotic noises as she's being massaged, whether it's erotic or not. So it's really interesting, and it was a lot of fun. I would give the series a solid 4. But yeah, I thought it was a lot of fun. I recommend trying it out. It is definitely like smutty, and you see boobies at least. You might see butt a little bit, but I think that's it. I don't think you really see much more beyond that. It's pretty censored, I guess you could say, for manga. You're not going to see all the body parts. This is not Fire in His Fingertips, but it's still really a lot of fun. And just the whole concept is kind of bonkers and fun. There is an interloper situation, but the way that kind of plays out is fun. It could have played out slightly differently, and I think I would have enjoyed that a little bit more personally. Once you get there, you'll know. But anyways, so yeah, that's all I've read so far today. So that's been, let's see, how many volumes has that been today? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 today.
And I think that's all I'm gonna read today. I kind of want to spend the evening with my hubby. So I'll come back, and I've got a few more physical volumes I'd like to get read. So I'll probably check in with you guys tomorrow morning. I might read a little bit of it tonight. I don't know. But all I know is I love my new hair. And happy manga love. It's so fun. Okay, friends, welcome to day 3 of the Manga Love Readathon, and this is going to be my final clip for this vlog. I'm going to spend the rest of the day with Steve and just have a really relaxing Valentine's Day with him. So let's quickly talk about what I've read since we last chatted. So I believe after we last chatted, I ended up reading the rest of My Boss's Kitten, which is volumes 5 through 7, and I really love how this one wrapped up. This is an age gap office romance where he is over her at work. In the beginning, like, it has a bit of a rough start. I would give it 3 volumes, and if you're not liking it by the end of volume 3, go ahead and cut it there. But honestly, like, I really love how this relationship develops and progresses, and they both move forward from past hurts, and it's just so good. I ended up really enjoying this. I'm giving the whole series like a 4-star, and it was just a really good time. It is pretty smutty, so if you like the smutties, definitely try this one. And then I read volume 7 of Witch Hat Atelier. This volume gives us a lot of backstory on Master Kifri, or Kifri? I don't know how you say his name, but he is like the one who's teaching Coco magic, and we basically get his origin story, and it really helps explain a lot of his behavior, and I really ended up enjoying learning more about him. So yes, like, each volume of this just gets better and a little bit darker, and I really like it for that. Like, this one especially, Kifri is not who I thought he was, and this volume proved that, and I'm just like, oh wow, this is going to be interesting. Next up, we have Magus of the Library, Volume 4. Theo's all grown up. My poor precious baby's all grown up, and he's doing his library training now. And this volume really is setting the tone for the rest of the series. Like, up to this point, we've been trying to get Theo here to the library as a librarian, as a Magus of the Library. And now we have the person who got him there basically challenging what Theo believes. And so it's really, really interesting. Like, and it all ties back to a book that he's given in the first volume. Like, oh, I just want more of this so much. I really love the series, and I really love the direction of it. I did also read volume 4 of Phantom Tales of the Night. In this one, we learn a lot more about Butterfly in particular, but also Spider, and why the innkeeper is the way he is. Or they are. I'm not 100% sure on their gender. But this really, like, it deals a lot with, like, yokai lore and stuff. And it's just so cool. I really enjoy it. It is a little on the spooky side. And a little bit on the, like, more mystery thriller side. But I really, really enjoy this. This is kind of, like, about as much as I can handle typically. So definitely give this one a try. And then I also have Beyond the Clouds, Volume 3. This was so precious. We meet a new friend, and Theo and Mia are just so cute. And I really love the journey that they're on. We do see Mia's powers again in this volume. If you've read the first volume, you know what I'm alluding to. And it's really interesting to see how they diffuse the situation on that one. So yes, I really love this series, and I'm really interested in where it's going to go from here. Like, I'm still in this one, like, it's very slice of lifey as they go about their adventures, but at the same time, like, there's this overarching bigger story that I still feel like we need a lot more information on. So I don't know how long this series is going to be, but I'm here for the ride. Thank you guys so much for everyone who participated. I think this has been our most popular round yet. And I am also just so grateful for everyone giving my channel so much support recently. And it's amazing. I love you all so much. And I will see you guys in the next round in the spring. Bye.